Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Gemini, Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's the weekly reading for the week of September the 2nd to the 8th. So this week, Gemini, we've got a oracle card, Answer the Call. Energies leaving, completing or transitioning. We have the Chariot, clarified with the Death card. Focus energies, we have the Star, clarified with the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the Ace of Wands and the Five of Wands coming in towards the end of the week. So Gemini, let's start here. Death and the Chariot. Yeah, so okay, Death came out as clarified with the, Chariot came out as clarified with Death here. So some of you are most definitely moving on after something has come to pass, or you've let go or surrendered to something in your life. You've really released something quite significant. And I feel like some of you probably wanted to move forward for quite a period of time, like usually when it's, we're releasing big life patterns or big situations in our life. It's not just an overnight thing. It's something that kind of starts niggling at us, and then the voices in our head from the spirit, divine, higher self get louder and louder to a point where we can no longer take it anymore, and something comes to a head. Maybe some of you have had a tower moment, but either way, you did make the decision to move on from the situation. You might have been in two minds for quite a while. So you can see here in the Chariot, this person here has this heavy stone chariot that they're wanting to propel forward, and he doesn't have any reins. Instead, he just has a magician's wand, and it's drawn by these two sphinxes here. So these sphinxes can represent the opposing forces within us. Sometimes we feel like we're two different people with two different minds, and one part of us wants to take one course of action, the other part wants to take the other one, and it's very difficult to bring these two forces. It's almost like a yin and yang, to bring them into harmony so we can actually make a clear decision and move forward. So I feel like that's the space that a lot of you might have been in for quite a period of time. And there probably was a period or a time, like a tipping point, where that yin and yang kind of came together. You knew what you wanted to do, and that was kind of like your alchemical moment where you could actually, take a big leap forward. And that leap forward could have been ending a relationship, if that's the situation that's ending. Could have been, leaving a job that was burning you out, or that you had no progression in. Releasing yourself from a toxic friendship or even family relationship, that type of thing. Now, the Chariot can also indicate actually physically leaving or relocating. Some of you may have needed to actually, move homes. Some of you might even be moving, interstate or even internationally with the Chariot card. That's what it can relate to. But it's also that sense of movement. Like if you are leaving a job, obviously you're going to be, traveling to a new location of work. If you've ended a relationship, one of you will be probably seeking a new home somewhere. So it's really that kind of movement. It's quite significant. Now the Chariot is a card of victory. So I feel that either way, even if there has been any hurts associated with the situation, because essentially change is painful for a lot of us, that it was the right thing, and that you have been victorious in that. Because with the Death card here, it tells us that this change was inevitable. Death comes in to really sort of clear away, to clear the slate of things that are no longer serving us in our lives. It asks us to release and let go and let pass those things that are no longer serving our higher interest. And that we have to sort of respect that life is a cyclical process where sometimes we're sort of birthing and building new situations, new things in our life, and at other times we're bringing things to a completion and closing down things so that we can create space to then begin a new cycle. And I think you were just at that time where there's a time to sow, there's a time to reap. You reaped that situation. There was nothing kind of left, and you were left with soil that it basically had no life force left in it. It was really time to move on. That's what the Death card does. It's the energy that comes in and asks us to clear the way. And what Death promises, it promises that there's real growth and transformation from going through that process. How often do you feel after you've gone through a breakup or a traumatic situation, as hard as it is at the time, there is a period of time afterwards where you look back and you actually feel renewed. You feel like you've grown, you feel wiser. That is the kind of evolution that's on offer with the Death card. The flower here on the flag, that is actually the symbol of alchemy. You'll see in the Fool card as well, the Fool carries this little flower. Well, it's the same flower here. The Fool carries the freshly picked beginning of this flower, as Death is, has the full bloom here as a symbol of transformation. When death comes in, we need to surrender to it. We need to look it directly in the eye. See, this child is able to, because the child doesn't have the understanding of, what hurt can be like. It doesn't have the experience of what it's like to go through these things, to, have baggage from the past and that type of thing. Whereas the adult doesn't want to look death in the eye because the adult knows the pain that it can bring in. But, through breakdown comes breakthrough, and, the idea is to try and resort to that childlike nature where we're not afraid of things and we allow things to come in with the natural rhythms of birth and death. And, the sun on the horizon here, it means, there really is the bright promise of something greater, of guidance, of a really bright new future. There's a new dawn on the horizon, a new day, a new dawn, and it's really time to break through to that. So yeah, big recent past here for you guys. I really feel that some of you have already been through this. Some of you might still be in the process of going through that now. And like I said, it could have actually followed on from a Tower moment. So it's probably been a big couple of months for a lot of you. But the really good news is this week here, as you focus energies, it's a total shift up. Here comes the healing, and here comes the planning and the laying of the new foundation for this new chapter. So yeah, the Star card. The Star card actually follows on from the Tower in the tarot deck to come in and bring us the healing and the rebalancing, the restoration that we need after a period of our life where things have been turned upside down, where things have been chaotic, where we've had a lot of change and forward movement, where we've had to release and surrender and let go of things, even if we loved them dearly, we knew they were no longer serving us. Through that can come hurt, through that can come pain. So the Star comes in to bring in the perspective, to bring in that energetic rebalancing, and to heal. So you may need to take time this week to reflect, to know that healing process has started. It's a great time for self-care as well, massage, energy healing, all that type of thing. Now with the Star card, this person is completely naked. It's like they're feeling pretty vulnerable, which is, if you've come out of a Tower moment or the death energy, that's likely how you feel. Something has literally been stripped away from you and has left you bare. And that could be a construct as you've known it, like a relationship that kept you protected. It might even have been a codependent relationship. And once something like that leaves you, it can really leave you feeling very, very exposed. Same with if you are releasing a career or a job. A lot of us identify very strongly with our roles. What's the first question at a party that most people ask us, which is a bit of a pet peeve of mine, is, what do you do? What do you, and that they're meaning, what do you do for work? So my answer to that question is, when I'm asked that, is, do you mean for work, or, what do I do, that truly makes me happy in my life? Who am I really? And I answer it from that perspective. So, if you are leaving a job or a role, same feeling. We can feel like we've lost part of our identity. But, the good news is with the Star energy is that this person here is able to, water always represents emotions in the tarot. This person can have one foot in the watery emotions, but she's also got the other foot firmly grounded on solid earth. So it says to me that even though there's rebalancing going on, there might be healing, you are feeling grounded in the process, grounded enough to go about your earthly responsibilities at the same time as you go about this rebalancing process. 7 stars here can indicate the chakras in the body. It is a card of coming back into a place of balance. But what is truly wonderful about it is this bright star of divine guidance here. So, you really are being divinely guided into your next chapter because, it's likely that this was karmic, that this was the end of, or completion of a karmic cycle. And now the universe is rewarding you by saying, well, let's make a new wish upon a star and I'll help guide you forward. And look, it's almost like this Knight of Pentacles has, that representation of the star as well here. This is about, okay, the star has appeared in the sky for you. You're able to make a wish on that star. And now the Knight of Pentacles comes in to start making that a practical, tangible reality for you. The Knight of Pentacles invites you to take some action, some inspired action to now turn this into a real new opportunity. There is a real new seeds of potential of opportunity on offer for you this week as you go about this healing process. And because you've cleared the space for it by going through this death and rebirth process. So the Knight of Pentacles, he holds the Ace of Pentacles here. And we know that the Ace of Pentacles is all about those seeds of pure potential. I used the metaphor just before when I talked about the death card of that cycle of sowing and reaping. And when you know that it's time to kind of, to move on, is when, your soil is no longer fertile. There's nothing can grow there. There's no more sort of nurturing you can do in that particular situation because there's just no life left in it. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, he's all about sowing new seeds. He's been out there working those fields, doing the preparation, laying the foundation so that a strong new harvest is going to come in the next season when the time is right. So, that's a really beautiful flow on here. So really the Knight of Pentacles asks you, what seeds are you going to sow now? If opportunities come in for you this week, it might be something someone says. It might be, a new job offer potentially, something that comes in for a new potential of how to make money. Look, it could even be new friendships, that type of thing. But the Knight of Pentacles asks you to take those initial seeds of what might be coming into you and grow them in some way. So that could be putting a plan in place. It could be, just actually taking up on invitations that come in to, go and hang out and spend time with new people, that type of thing. But it's taking some kind of action. Because what we know with aces, and we've got another one coming in here, which is amazing, but, they are number one of each suit of the tarot deck. So as we know with, if we are going to plant a seed, just carrying on with that metaphor, we can't just, chuck it in the ground and leave it unless it's an extremely resilient seed, right? What if there's a drought? It's not going to grow. There might not be rain to water it. So when we plant a seed, we do need to have a certain amount of, nurturing. We need to make sure it's got enough light, enough air, enough water, and that kind of thing to create the perfect conditions for it to grow. So that's what you need to do with these opportunities is, actually give them what they need to feed the opportunity so that it can grow and flourish into that beautiful harvest in your next season. So yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Okay, coming in towards the end of the week, Ace of Wands and the Five of Wands. So yeah, cool. Another inspired new beginning. We've got strong new beginning energy and divine guidance after going through this death cycle. So the Ace of Wands also talks about, new inspiration, new offerings, that are coming in literally on the hand of the divine. So there is something definitely guiding you and looking after you this week. So the Ace of Wands, it can be an idea because Wands is all about, inspiration, creativity, that kind of thing. So it might be a creative new idea for how to make money or, how to progress your career. You might be feeling, really passionate. If someone comes in with an actual, invitation, you might be feeling quite passionate towards somebody. It's that kind of energy. Again, we have signifiers of growth here. I do think that a lot of you are going through a growth cycle. You might be sort of, getting some spiritual development out of this as well. It's all about, growth to get to the next chapter of your life here. So we've also got the Five of Wands here. So yeah, interesting because you had this last week too. Last week you did have a lot of this kind of more conflicting energy going on, and this week we see the big change out of that. But it's like there are still some remnants of it here. Like the Five of Wands can be sort of that petty petty arguments and that type of thing. So if any of that comes up this week, I think it's just a good idea to keep out of it. You're getting offered a beautiful wand from the divine here. So I think the message here with the Five of Wands is make sure you use that for positive benefit. Whereas, these people also, they each hold an Ace of Wands, but they've chosen to use that fiery energy in potentially a way that's not serving them. So just make sure that you use your power in the right way this week. So yeah, really beautiful energy, Gemini. Let's read your oracle card here. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Your guidance is divinely guided, and you have 3 elements of that here this week in your reading. You are being called to answer the call of your soul. It might be scary. It might not make sense. But if you trust your soul's yearning, you will live a life beyond what your mind could possibly imagine. Answering your soul's calling is not a one-time thing. Rather, it's a lifelong dance. Deep down, you already know what you long for. It's what your soul yearns for. Yeah, so Gemini, you're definitely starting a new chapter. I think you should really tune in deeply with what you're feeling called to do and allow that to drive this new direction with this strong new beginning energy that you have going on here. Oh, I wish you all the best with it, Gemini. I hope it's a really great week. Just keep in mind it is a general reading, may not resonate for every Gemini out there, and I'll be back with you for another reading next week.